Hey everybody, this is Reverend Crystal from Northern Michigan, wedding officiants, and thanks for being here today. I've got two really special people. They got married right in the middle of the pandemic, and I know that for a lot of us, not only is finding an officiant and planning your wedding can be nerve-wracking, but we are still contending with the uncertainty of what the future may bring. And I'm pretty sure that Sarah and Rachel are going to be able to give us some tips about that and tell us what their experience is, and then maybe you can apply that to your situation too. All right, so let me bring in Rachel and Sarah.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad that you're here. It's good to see you guys. You want to tell a little bit about you guys and maybe a little bit about how you met, just a little background with the two of you, and then I'll ask you some officianty questions.
Sure. Well, we're actually an internet dating success story. We met on an application called Tinder, and then we set up a meeting for ourselves. So we met to have brunch at this really cool restaurant, and we just talked a lot for a long time, and then we haven't stopped talking since. And now
that's really nice. Guys, yeah. Is there any reason that you didn't get married down in New Orleans? Because for those of you who don't know, they're down in New Orleans.
Well, at the time we decided to get married, the pandemic was really raging here. I mean, when we got engaged, we were on full lockdown in terms of cannot leave the house, ordering in groceries. New Orleans got hit really hard. And we had already planned on spending the summer up in Northern Michigan, where Rachel's family has spent all of their summers since she was a little kid. And so Rachel made a comment of something like, we were talking about, when should we get married? Because it was always a matter of when and not if. And Rachel's like, I would have been fine marrying you last summer in Michigan. I would marry you this summer in Michigan. And I was like, okay.
Let's go for it. Did you guys quarantine yourselves when you first got here? Didn't you do something like that? Didn't you set something?
Yeah, before and after. We quarantined before we left New Orleans, and then we drove it in one shot with the two of us, my 7-year-old son, 3 dogs over 40 pounds, and a cello in one minivan, and just drove straight through we had to stop for gas. We didn't even stop for food. We packed a cooler. We just stopped for gas. That was it.
Yeah.
And then, quarantined when we got up there as well.
Did you feel uncertain at all about going ahead, or were you pretty sure that everything was going to be manageable for you once you got up here?
Oh, well, it ended up being a very small ceremony and very pared down. So as far as finding a place and getting food and stuff, that didn't seem to be a problem. But we did have some issues thinking about a few of our friends that were driving or flying in, and worrying about their safety and our safety, and setting up a safety protocol and instructions and directions for everybody.
Yeah, we ended up having 6 people, and not including us, you. And we actually both had friends that were planning to come and couldn't because of COVID. It was never a question of would we move forward with the wedding. We were getting married, even if it was just the 3 of us and my son. But yeah, we did have some worries. Like Rachel said, we wanted to make sure that everybody was really safe. We told everything was outside. And people could wear, we didn't, but they wore masks, and we were careful from everything from buying disposable, forks and plates, so everything could just go right in the trash, and having drinks that you didn't have to pour, that you could just have out of a water bottle or a soda can or something, and to do whatever we kept hand sanitizer in the bathroom so people could spray everything down after they left. It's just anything we could think.
All those things, yeah.
Anybody, anytime you can not come, and it's okay. There's no hard feelings whatsoever, and it's fine. So
that's really good to give people that permission too, because I think people feel bad about not being able to be there with you when they want to be, and then things just change. And then now, are you guys going to have another celebration, maybe a bigger one down there, or you have plans for adding on anything, or what's going on with that?
Well, of course, the intention was always to have a larger, what people used to have back in the day, those receptions. But look at where we are now. Is that ever going to be possible? It was? I don't know. So I think we're still waiting to make that call.
on our honeymoon yet either. We have it planned, but we just can't go yet.
Yeah.
Well, we're both going to places that we've always wanted to go and have never gotten to go. So we are going to, what I always wanted to go to is Argentina. And Rachel,
We're going to take a side trip to Antarctica.
Wow, really?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to see, plan it out first. Let's see if this works.
Yeah. So
it was a possibility before the pandemic, but
yeah,
I'm not sure about now.
So you probably wouldn't have to worry too much about social distancing. You just
Right.
Which was one of the things about the location that you had too, is that it was very windy that day.
Yeah, it was a little chilly.
Yeah, and people had, I think all of your folks had masks on, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And was I wearing a hat thing when you guys got married? I can't remember. Was I wearing a hat?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a phase.
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked it.
No, it was a nice hat.
Yeah, it was a nice hat, but I mean, the wind just went. I had like tape on it so that it wouldn't
Oh, good.
fall off.
That's smart.
It was a pretty safe thing. It wasn't because it fit me so well. The site that they had was you walked across like an empty field, but it was up like a suburban street. And yet it was way up high, looking out on Lake Michigan. And then you walked down this path, and then you came out on this sort of unruly, but it didn't matter, big deck that had this awesome view. I mean, it was stunning. It really was stunning. And Rachel, you're the one who knew where that was, right?
Yeah, I remember the first time when I found that place. And I said, wow, this is a really special place. And like, it was a dream come true that we were able to have our wedding there. That was like a special spot that I had seen, and it just seemed the easiest and like very secluded and private.
Well, who was the first team member that you looked for when you were putting your ceremony together the whole day? Where did you start?
Okay, no offense, but it was actually my best friend Melanie. We called her first, was the photographer who was my best friend, and we've known each other since we were 12. And
so at what point did finding an officiant come into the equation?
So that was actually, like Sarah said, that was the very next step. And for me, when we got you to do the ceremony, we were like, oh my gosh, this is really happening now. This is for real serious. I remember I took a picture of us on the phone with you, like on speakerphone, like, we're really doing this. Oh my gosh. And so yeah, you were the next person that we got.
Now, was there anything in particular that you were looking for to find an officiant? What were some of those things?
Well, we wanted like a woman to be our officiant, first of all, and then also we wanted an officiant that like would go along, like would have share our values and something like that, because we're not very religious. We're not religious at all. I kind of grew up in church, so I kind of like having that spirituality side. So I had grown up like in a church, so for me it was okay to have a reverend do the ceremony. So we reached out to a few other people, but they were busy.
Oh, okay.
Like Governor Whitmer.
yeah, we actually did reach out to Governor Whitmer.
But like also at the same time that we would bother her with such a trivial request when she's like, she's really working.
Well, this was also before like armed militia started showing up at her doorstep, so then we felt really bad after.
Well, maybe it had been a nice diversion or something. Was there anything else that was important to you in finding an
She
officiant?
actually looked up LGBT wedding officiant Michigan to see what would come up, and so we liked that, and that it was treated with respect, not fanfare.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes any sense. So that is something that I really liked a lot about you, and I read through your site, and I read through, you had some testimonials from some of your other married couples, and I liked what they had to say, and I liked, a lot of them said that you made them feel, very warm and fuzzy, and that comforted, and that you were a really, really great presence at their wedding, and that's what we wanted.
Cool. Well, that's good. I'm glad that I had the opportunity to share that experience with you guys, because it was the music and everything. I mean, there were so many different elements of your ceremony that had nothing to do with me, that were just very unique. It was really.
We couldn't have done it without you. So I mean.
Well, yeah, of course. Of course. Now, do you have any suggestions that you would give to other people who are looking for an officiant, like questions that you think are important for them to ask?
It's almost what we didn't have to ask you, or that you didn't have to ask us. It was all very seamless in terms of the LGBT wedding part of it. It was all very seamless. It was just like we were any other couple, because we are just any other couple. It wasn't
exactly, yeah,
a big deal. In terms of asking for an officiant, one thing that we had asked you and you were really amazing with is, what are you going to include in the ceremony? And then we got back on the phone and you went through that rundown of how it would go. And then, you talked to us about certain things. Oh, I like that line. Can we keep that? Oh, maybe that's not really for us. Can we lose that? And that was huge. Yeah. It was just like, oh, I got it. Don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. You really went through all of it and you personalized it for us. And it really felt like us. So that was really great.
That's what I try to do. And I am aware, I think, when I get a call from an LGBTQ couple, that they really want to make sure that I get them, and I'm not going to judge or force anything in any way.
It was crazy to me that I got married and some of the people who were closest to me haven't met my wife in person yet because of the pandemic. It's really weird. I've got friends too that haven't met her, so that's bizarre.
We've actually spent more time together in our relationship in the pandemic than we have before the pandemic started.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's good though.
Yeah, we moved in together 2 months before everything locked down, so it was really a sink or swim.
Now, do you feel that actually going through the ceremony, and because you wrote your own vows to each other, did you feel any kind of a shift internally about the fact that you went through this time-honored ritual?
Oh, well, I think I'm still like grappling with what happened, but definitely something like really, really big happened. I mean, I could barely make it through my vows without there were a lot of tears. It was a very powerful moment. So powerful, like I said, I'm still thinking about, what happened and reliving it. It was such an amazing day. The whole experience was just so amazing.
Yeah, I did feel like kind of a monumental shift. I kept looking at my hand. I actually kept looking at her hand and the ring on her hand.
Well, is there any parting advice that you want to say about your ceremony, about your relationship, about the experience that we all had together that you think might be helpful for people?
I guess I just tell people, especially who are looking at getting married in the pandemic, is that just get married. It doesn't have to be some fairy tale princess dream and this huge wedding and 5,000 people. And we've heard so many stories about people getting sick and what these huge weddings being super spreader events, and it's not worth it. It's not about that, and I think that's why we did take the ceremony so seriously, is because this was for us, and we were really glad that our families could join us and some friends and you, but this was about us and us starting this new chapter in our lives together. So I guess that would be my only thing, is if people had wanting to cancel their weddings, and don't cancel it, just grab an officiant. Crystal, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And, find a really beautiful spot. There's tons of them in Michigan. And, just be with your future spouse and enjoy the day.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because there were so many people that, it was kind of a mixed bag, because there were a number of people that had to downsize. They didn't want to wait. And then there are some people who rescheduled from last year, and now they're still facing it. And I'm waiting to see what happens, because I have a few weddings scheduled for May and June, and I don't really know what. But I did ask, and you guys might have answered that survey. I did a survey of people that I officiated for last year and said, how did you feel about downsizing, and are you going to have another ceremony? And all of them except for one said, we were really happy with what happened. We didn't spend as much money. We had more money to travel with, when it's and that kind of thing, and with the people that we wanted to, and it was just more intimate. See the comment. Do you have anything you wished you would have?
I really don't. The only thing I can think of doesn't have anything to do with the wedding.
What is it?
I wish that we had gotten a house like professional clean before we moved in. It was perfect.
Yeah. I wish we would have gotten more donuts from Barb's.
Oh,
At the wedding, we had a big tray, but maybe 2 big trays would have been better.
yeah. Well, now you know. So next time you come back up, you'll have to get more donuts to take back down again.
Yes.
Yours was a memorable one. So I'm thankful that I had a chance to share that with you guys. So thank you yet again.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to have another interview with another couple, and it's going to be on Thursday, February 24th at 7 o'clock. So we want to make it easy for people and to help people to prepare for the process that they have to go through in order to get an officiant, to put their team together, and just what it's like. So take care. May your wisdom keep you safe. Bye.